very first video on my cooking channel, and today I'm going to share with you how to make these Hong Kong style Chinese egg custard tarts, and this is what it looks like. And I guarantee this recipe is so good. This has a puff pastry crust, so it ensures that you have many little flaky layers. And it's just so buttery, crispy, and so good. So if you want to learn how to make this, then just keep watching and let's get started. So let's start by taking our cold unsalted butter and just cutting this into cubes. And one of the most important things to remember when making a puff pastry is to make sure that the butter is cold at all times. If the butter is cold, then it will result in a very flaky crust. So to a food processor, we are going to combine our flour and our butter, and we are going to pulse this just until it becomes a ball of dough. We do not want to overmix this at this stage, and you can also do this by hand, but to me, it's just a lot quicker and easier in a food processor. Next, we are going to transfer our butter dough onto a large sheet of plastic wrap. Then we're going to put a second sheet of plastic wrap on top, and with our hands, we're just going to lightly pat this together until it forms a square. Now we are going to separate the egg yolks from the egg whites, and make sure to save those egg whites because we are going to use those later for the filling. Using your food processor again, we are going to add in our flour, egg yolks, and water, and we are going to pulse this until it becomes a ball of dough. Now, depending on your dough, if it looks a little bit too dry and it doesn't come together into a ball, you may have to adjust the water, but if you do that, make sure you add only half a teaspoon at a time. But ultimately, you just want a dough that forms into a ball and is not too sticky to the touch. When working with any dough, you want to make sure you have a well-floured surface. And just in case you're wondering, that red thing is a silicone mat, and I much prefer using a silicone mat rather than your countertop because it's just so much easier to work with and a lot easier to clean. So I just added a little bit more flour because my dough is a little bit sticky, but what you want to do is just roll this out about a ½ inch thick, and we are going to try to make this into a diamond shape. Now we're going to take our butter dough out of the fridge and place that into the center, and then just wrap it up like a little present. So this is where we are going to transform our dough into a puff pastry. And we are going to roll this out with a rolling pin into a rectangle about a ½ inch thick. And then this is what we're going to call fold number 1. We are going to fold this into thirds, and when you fold it into thirds and you turn it on its side, you will see that there are 3 layers. Then wrap this back up into the plastic wrap and pop it into the fridge. Now we are going to repeat the same exact process for fold number 2 by rolling this out about a ½ inch thick into a long rectangle. Except for fold number 2, we are going to ultimately make 4 layers. So we're going to take both ends of the rectangle and meet it up to the center. Now we're going to take one corner and fold it over like a book. So when you turn it onto its side, you'll see that there are 4 layers total. Then we're just going to wrap this up in the same plastic wrap and pop it into the fridge. For fold number 3, we are going to do exactly the same process as fold number 2. We are going to roll it out into a rectangle about a ½ inch thick and fold it until we get 4 layers and wrap it up into plastic wrap and pop it back into the refrigerator. First, we have to make our simple syrup, and we have to combine sugar and water together and microwave it for about a minute and then set aside to cool. In a separate bowl, we are going to combine 3 whole eggs, our egg whites that we reserved earlier, some milk, and some vanilla extract. You're just going to whisk that together and then slowly add in your cooled simple syrup. And to make sure our custard is super smooth and there's no lumps in it when it cooks, run it through a sieve a couple times. Now we are going to roll out our dough into about a 1/4 inch in thickness, and you're going to want to take a cookie cutter that is about the same size as your mold. Mine both measures to be 3 inches in diameter, and you're just going to cut out your dough with the cookie cutter. To get the perfect tart, you want to lay your dough over the mold and then gently press down the bottom inner edges. Then, using your thumbs, slowly work the dough up to the sides of the mold just until the dough meets the corners. It's so much easier to work with cold dough, so if your dough is starting to melt a little bit in your hands when you work with it, pop it into the fridge for a few minutes until it firms up. Then, taking a fork, we're going to prick the bottom of the tart, and this will prevent it from puffing up too much while cooking. And then you're just going to fill it up with your delicious egg custard. And by the way, I laid all of my tarts onto a baking sheet because it's so much easier that way. Then we are going to pop these into the oven to bake until the crust is a light golden brown color, and just until you can touch the custard filling without any of it sticking to your finger. Then we're going to transfer it to a wire rack. As you can tell, it comes out super easily. And that's pretty much it. I hope you guys really enjoyed this tutorial. I hope you enjoy this egg custard tart, and if you do try to make it, please leave a video response or a comment below and tell me how much you like it, because I know you will like it. It's super delicious. And don't forget to subscribe, and thank you so much for watching. Bye!